Scoot over.
Don't fucking tell me what to do.
All right, Broccoli Skates here. It's just true.
It's just true.
We got this box from Compass. Skate everywhere. Hashtag Compass wheel brand is sponsoring us now. So
Law Daddy hooked us up. Let's see what we got.
all of the tape.
Okay. Take turns. So first off, got this little shirt. Oh, there's a couple shirts in there. Are there a couple shirts in there?
It's multiple shirts.
Oh man. Okay. Oh, dude, and it's a V-neck, dude.
He knew V-neck was the choice.
He's the best.
And he got me tank tops, actually.
Did he get you tank tops?
Yeah, because tank top life. But no, dope. I'm definitely gonna be wearing these this weekend.
Nice. Yeah, and I like that the logo is like really understated too. Like it's not like a huge thing across the front. You know, it's just this little guy. That's nice. Just a little guy. All right. What's next?
Sun's out, guns out all summer.
Here you go.
I think these are bearings, by the way. Apparently these are dirt resistant type bearings as well. So I think we got sets on sets.
Yeah, they're all sealed. They got some fat grease on them. I'm excited about them. I'm really tired of doing bearing maintenance. Like, if we're being honest. Like,
honestly, I've spent a lot of money just on bearings.
Yeah, because you buy serviceable bearings and then you just like throw them away.
I just don't. I need to learn how to clean bearings. It'd be nice.
Yeah. Okay, hella stickers.
Yeah,
we'll put these up around Denver when we're filming this stuff.
We will.
Yeah, awesome. And then, let's see.
Speaking of skating around Denver, definitely going to be trying to do Pokemon Go style find people on Instagram when they're skating around. So if you ever see me skating around Denver and you find me, you win. Good luck.
I mean, it's kind of like stalking a little bit, but it's like very well-natured stalking.
I mean, if you play the game...
If you're playing the game, then
you know they're playing the game. Otherwise, don't be skating around saying you're playing the game.
Cool. So these are the 72s. I don't know how many we got of them, but you guys have seen those before. See them in person, dude. I'm a big fan of the graphics. Like, online, they look okay, but in person, that is just like smooth and sweet. And it doesn't look like it's going to flake off after
you got to be able
sessions.
To shred into these edgewise. We're going to be definitely testing that out.
Definitely. Yeah. And then I think, these big, those are the 80s. So these are samples of the 80s that are going to come out. They're not available yet. I think they're next in line. We're going to check them out and see what's up with them.
Yeah. My biggest thing with skating and doing twizzles and three turns is, and on a rockered setup, is that you're putting a lot of pressure on the sides of wheels. So for us to test these out, I do feel like they're a little bit of a harder plastic than what I'm used to. But putting them to the test, being able to see if they can withstand being able to turn and twizzle and stuff like that.
Yeah, because when you core wheels, you don't like break the core. It's like you rip the urethane
off of the holder. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
So these definitely feel nice and durable.
I think
Excited.
It's the same size. It's like the same size core as the 72s. It's interesting. The same profile. Like about the same profile.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, so this would be nice. Man, I've been rocking like different profiled wheels in my record setup, and it's like such a pain. Like I feel like I'm slipping all the time because my back one's so fat. The mix and match. Yeah, the mix and match is a nightmare.
Well, and that's the other thing with being on a rockered setup is all of your weight typically is on the center too. So for me, like I just use the toe and the heels just for choreographic purposes, whereas all my weight is going to be on the center two wheels, pretty much for everything. So that's the hardest part about getting.
Stuff is still like 75% of a given session, though. To be fair.
True. Yeah. I will be on a toe most of the time. He's right. No, definitely big shout out to Lawrence and appreciate the gear. We'll get these tested out and see how they hold up with
Look at
city
all
blades.
These. We have so many wheels. All your wheels belong to us.
Thank goodness.
Children over 30. How are you now? So, I've got probably about 20 hours worth of skating on these Compass wheels. I've been skating on these 2015, 2016, something like that. Seb FR1s with the stock frames. Again, I have the 80s in the middle here and the 72s on the outside. You can see this one has graphics and this one, because it's just a sample, does not. Just to kind of, you know, reiterate that the rocker that I've been skating on these is considered quite extreme by most people. So your normal slalom rocker would be like 76 millimeter wheels on the outside and then 80s in the middle. I'm rocking 72s on the outside. So double a normal slalom rocker. And when you skate a very extreme rocker like this, there's a couple things that you notice pretty straight off. First is has to do with like the hardness, and then the second would have to do with the wheel wear. And let's start with the wear, because I think people want to know that a little bit more. So like I said, I got about 20 hours of skating on these, and wear wise, I think they're right up there with like undercovers and hydrogens and stuff like that. Generally, on a huge rocker like this, you know, your middle wheels are going to make contact with the ground even more than your ones on the outside. So it's not quite as bad as skating anti-rocker as far as, you know, like wheel wear and stuff like that, but it's definitely closer to that than like a straight flat setup would be, where all your wheels are touching at the same time. So inspecting my middle wheels here, by the way, I've only had to rotate them once, but I do use outside edges a lot more than most people. But there's maybe, let's see if I can get it up to the camera. I would say probably like a 4 millimeter gap right now between the middle wheels. So when they were brand new, I mean, when you load up an 80 frame, like you can barely slip a piece of paper between the wheels. Like the tolerances are so tight, especially with like the, you know, the mold lines in the wheels and everything. So the 4 millimeter gap, I would say, is a pretty good indication that they've worn about 4 millimeters with 20 hours worth of skating. Which, like I said, is right up there with, you know, undercover, hydrogen, like all the good quality wheels that you're used to. I was a little bit scared when I first got them after the first session, because there was quite a bit of wear on, I think it was the left side. But what I figured out was, me and Brock were filming earlier that day, and we did a bunch of like super long lines down like 16th Street in Denver and stuff like that. And with that, you know, being the cameraman, I had to speed check quite a bit, you know, just to maintain my distance and stuff like that. So, I mean, essentially I was like dragging my back foot for blocks at a time. So like, of course, you know, it's going to wear a little bit funny, but ever since I've been like skating on these, like I have not had an issue with wear. Like I said, I've probably rotated them one time. 20 hours for 4 millimeters is not too bad at all, especially with this extreme rocker. So the other part about the rocker that I mentioned is that the hardness matters in a different kind of way. So because the outside wheels are, you know, further up off the ground, 4 millimeters, which isn't really a lot in the grand scheme of things, but you are relying a lot more on your middle wheels generally to give you the kind of grip that you need to get deep edges and stuff to do all of our fancy feet things. And 85A is a little bit hard. In my experience, like 85A hydrogen was a little bit hard. 86A undercover was a little bit hard. And these, I mean, it's an 85A, so it's going to be about like that. And I do think it would work. I had a setup before I switched where I was using 80s in the middle and then a 76 in the back and then a 72 in the front. And that allowed me to use a little bit harder wheels, but still maintain like that good rocker like I like, you know, that just makes things fun and maneuvering really easy. So yeah, I think for the double banana rocker like this, 85A is a little bit hard. But I think, again, if I get an 80 in the back and just get like a rockable frame and, you know, put it up so it's 2 millimeters up and then the front wheel, I'll probably stick with the 72. I think it'd be about perfect. You know, I was skating the MPC Black Magic extra firms, not the extra firms or the firms, but the extra firms, the ones right in the middle. And I think those are closer to like an 80A, 82A, something like that, with really big giant cores. And those with the double rocker gave all the grip that I needed. But those wheels don't slide. First of all, they just don't slide. They're not made to slide. And second of all, the cores are very big, fragile cores. So any kind of like jumping or anything like that, like they're gonna shatter. They are not made to jump. These are very much an urban skating wheel. So, I mean, 99 out of 100 urban skating videos that you see when people are doing like stair bashes, wall rides, hockey stops, gaps, that kind of thing. Like that's what these are made for. And in my opinion, they accomplish that pretty perfectly, pretty geniusly. Like I don't think the urethane could be any harder, because then you would slide out a little bit too much. I don't think it could be any softer, because then you wouldn't slide at all. I don't think for this type of wheel the cores could be any smaller, because then you get that kind of like, I don't want to name names of brands, but there's a brand out there that basically they don't even have cores, or maybe they're using like aggressive cores for big wheels. And everybody talks about how slow they are. Like, you can't get away with aggressive cores and big wheels. Like, it's just so slow and sluggish, and it's not a good time. So I think this, I can't remember the exact measurement of the core, but again, it's pretty continuous with what you would find on like a hydrogen wheel or an undercover wheel. And I think that's right about the size for this type of skating. It's not too small, it's not too big. I would take it downstairs in any fashion and feel like okay with it. I guess the last point on these would be the profile. It's kind of like halfway between, I would say, like a hydrogen wheel and like a Seba Street Invader. So it's not super fat tire-ish, but it's not exactly bullet profile either. It's just kind of nice and round, which I think is a good middle ground profile for, you know, gripping when you want and also sliding when you want. Both ends of the spectrum as far as profile, you know, they kind of have their advantages and disadvantages. So I like this real middle of the road kind of profile. It seems to suit the stuff that I do fairly well. So final verdict, who are these for? I would say if you're somebody that's into like the power slide, Seba, rollerblade kind of brand of urban skating where it's very aggressive influenced, I think these are going to be right up your alley. Like I said, I would feel comfortable taking them downstairs in, you know, any manner, doing hockey stops and stuff like that. You know, they're perfectly good for that. And they've worn really nice, you know, so it's really the whole package. Like, I don't know what else you would want out of a wheel for that discipline other than those things. So for our type of skating, swivelly dance type stuff, I mean, ideally I would opt for bigger core, softer urethane. I do think taking down this back rocker from 4mm back to 2mm would probably solve like most of those problems. And again, they're not huge problems. You know, it's not like I lost tricks when I switched to these wheels. You know, it's more something that it's just like a feel thing that takes you like 30 minutes to get used to, and then everything's fine. But I think for the vast majority of the 80mm wheel market, these are going to be perfect. These are going to be exactly what you're looking for. I have no qualms or second guesses or anything about, like, you know, representing this product or this company or anything like that. I think it's an amazing wheel. If I started a wheel company and we are going to come out with an 80mm, like the first one that came out would probably resemble this one. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Are they perfect for me? Not quite. Am I going to be recommending them to probably 95% of people who are looking for new 80mm wheels, 72mm wheels? Yeah. And it's not because I'm on the team, though that certainly doesn't hurt. It's because, I mean, they're great wheels, you know. I like the profile more than hydrogens or undercovers. The wear on them is just as good. You know, the price point's pretty consistent. You don't have to worry about my white wheels turning yellow, or even worse, just buying yellow wheels from undercover. I'm really not into that whole like color tech thing. You know, it makes me happy to have a company that's just making black wheels. And I think a lot of people are going to do a lot of really good skating in these. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget, pre-order starts tonight, April 4th, I think, at midnight. Get some. Goes out and gets them.